Wilmington University and Futures First Gaming announcing a partnership, the first of its kind in Delaware, and a very unique mission as well, developing academic credentials, degree and certificate programs for students in the gaming and esports communities. Here to talk about that with me this morning is Scott Shaw. He's academic chair of the Wilmington University Undergrad Game Design and Development Program. Also, Stephen Sye, who's CEO and co-founder of Futures First Gaming. Guys, good morning.
Good morning.
Good morning.
I am going to start with you, Stephen. Why don't you just lay out for people that aren't familiar with Futures First Gaming, what is it all about?
Futures First Gaming, first of all, thank you for having us this morning. Futures First Gaming is an ed tech and esports entertainment company that brings together gamers and enthusiasts of the industry to actually compete in, competitive and recreational gaming events. We have a gaming community currently of almost 600 gamers in the region, and we all get together and we just fellowship and game and have positive community. But the underlying piece behind that is we identify individuals who are interested in pursuing career path opportunities in STEM and esports industry professions, and then we provide the programming and curriculum and structure to be able to guide them in the right path.
Yeah, I like the way this is stacking up because I'm starting to see the parallel already. Scott Shaw, academic chair with Wilmington University's undergrad game design and development program. Scott, you pioneered this program. Talk about it and the genesis of it. And I mean, we're actually several years removed from it now, which is hard to believe.
Yeah. It is hard to believe it's been so long. We started in 2009, 2010 is when it officially released, and it was something that was, a little undervalued or misunderstood in terms of what game development looks like. It's not just, folks playing video games all the time. The development end of it is actually pretty rigorous, and that's where the things that Futures First is doing with their workforce development really dovetails really nicely to what we've established as a development program, and we're looking to spin things off into like the streaming and the YouTube, the social media, the graphic design, like all those supplemental skills that are inside the game design development program, and really build a pathway for these students to become successful at something they're really passionate about.
Stephen, at its very beginning, was Futures First Gaming, were you always keeping in mind the prospect of the workforce development program? I mean, did this start out a little more casual, or has this kind of thing been the mission from the get-go?
No, well, to be honest, we started out because there was really no gaming scene mainstream here in the Delaware region. So we wanted to produce or develop, leagues and competitive opportunities and tournaments so that Delaware wouldn't be bypassed for individuals heading up to Philadelphia or down to, the Baltimore, Washington area. So that's how we organically started. But then when we really started to uncover the industry and the industry opportunities, the professional opportunities, some of which Scott mentioned, but a vast array of professional career paths that actually tie into this almost $200 billion global industry, we really started to unpack it and say, okay, why are there not more people in this region, or even people that look like me and my co-founders working in this industry? Less than 2%, and we are an African-American owned business. Less than 2% of people that look like us work in this industry. So we said, okay, there's a lot of talent, there's a lot of opportunity. Why can't we develop an educational component to our program to teach students how to code, how to design video games, how to live stream, how to produce events, how to digitally market, how to become entrepreneurs? And so all of those components are wrapped into our programming, and we start by asking students, where are you from, what's your favorite video game, and what's your dream job, because we ultimately want to tie their passions and their pursuits to this industry. They could still be anything that they so choose to be and potentially be tied into the esports industry. So why not leverage their passion? So we really developed this core curriculum, this program over the period of 2020 as we launched our company and really got into what those opportunities could be. We went and applied for STEM.org accreditation for our programming. And then we, were blessed and fortunate enough to link up with Scott and Wilmington University and started talking about what a partnership could look like, and here we are.
Yeah. Stephen Sye there, CEO and co-founder of Futures First Gaming. And as he referenced, Scott Shaw, academic chair of the Wilmington University Undergrad Game Design and Development Program. So let's talk more about kind of that beginning of the partnership, Scott. When do you start to get a whiff of what it is that Futures First Gaming's all about and realize, hey, this could be a good thing?
Well, we actually started just prior to the pandemic through a mutual contact of Nick at Microsoft in the local region. And we started to talk about like what we could all do as a team to promote this and follow true to some of the vision statements that Stephen had said. And so we started, and then things kind of went sideways with the pandemic. But then recently, we really just got reconnected, and I think all the timing and all of the pieces fell into place. And I'm really super excited to partner with Futures First, Stephen, Malcolm, Nudie, the whole team, and really see what we can do and achieve to get that gaming industry rooted in Delaware and really reach out to students who have opportunity, individuals who want to do this for a living. It's a super exciting time. It's a super exciting business, and it just has room for growth that is limitless.
So, Scott, I'll stay with you for a minute, but Stephen, also jump in on the end of Scott's response if you'd like. How does the partnership work then? We've talked about how you guys came together. What are the pathways it creates?
Well, I think there's a lot of, opportunity for where the middle school and high school students who express interest, get, interested and involved with Futures First, start to develop like their passion and what they're interested in doing in terms of a career. And then through their workforce development programs, through their events, through their outreach, through all the things that they're doing, WilmU can then provide pathways to say, okay, you want to take the next step, you want to get a degree in this, you want to develop skills and be job ready, and take those initiatives to get moving on what you want to do for a career. That's where that partnership and that pathway between the two organizations really starts to shine.
Yeah, Stephen, what about your thoughts on that, the pathway?
Yeah, I completely agree. And what from the flip side, what it also does is it allows Futures First Gaming to tap into talent coming out of Wilmington University. We have one instructor who is one of Scott's students actually right now at Wilmington University, and we just recently filled an internship position from another student at Wilmington University. And so, not only does the partnership allow for us to leverage, the academic credentials, but also instructors, and also provide, employment opportunities to help build this industry here. That's the whole goal for us and WilmU and for, the students to have an opportunity to actually have a job in this industry here in Delaware.
And I'll throw this one out jointly, too, and you guys can jump in. So if the mission here, guys, is to develop academic credentials, we're talking about degrees and certificate programs, what are the academic hurdles there, right? You're talking about bringing gaming and esports into a curriculum, if you will, and, the at least the image of or the perception of higher education top brass is a little more staid and traditional than that. Is it a tough sell, I guess, is my ultimate question, to get these on that path to degrees and certificate programs?
Well, it's
Scott,
it is a little bit of it is a little bit of a challenge to kind of change that perception.
Yeah.
But when you start to think about all of the opportunities that are growing through things like the metaverse and VR and, the streaming industry as a whole, and esports, the fan base that it has compared to traditional sports is just growing. And so when you take a look at the skills that are within the program, it does start to make a lot of sense because we're preparing students to be ready for the things that are coming, not the stuff that, has been tried and true. So it's a little bit of a change in perception in terms of opportunity because we're preparing students for the workforce of the future, right? And I'll turn it over to Stephen, but there's a lot of opportunity there that folks don't realize. They need game developers now, and they need folks that understand the rest of the surrounding industry.
Yeah. Stephen?
Absolutely. As Scott touched on toward the end, we're in a technology age, and so you're going to need, businesses are looking for talent to be able to support, their evolution into that technology age if they haven't already invested resources there. So, by mining the talent that's in this gaming world, you're already tapping into a group that already has the acumen and has probably had it for quite some time, just not necessarily in a structured program. But what I'd also say is, if you think about the benefits to university, more than 5,000 high schools in the United States have an esports program.
Right.
Over 200 universities have an esports club or some type of varsity level program. $15 million annually are given out awarded in scholarships to play competitively at universities, but about 4 or 5 million goes unused because there's just not enough of a talent pool. So this, from a high school and middle school standpoint, it's encouraging for those institutions to start esports programs because they can now, offer another avenue into college for those students. But when you think about things like viewership and sponsorship dollars and enrollment, it also behooves a university to add an esports program because it can drive all of those things up as well.
And I would guess at least part of the argument could be, listen, what kind of school do you want to be here? Do you want to be that school that's out in front of this, or do you want to be the school trying to play catch up in 5 or 6 years when other schools around you have developed maybe similar partnerships and similar programs and already have the student interest and the money that goes with that student interest in terms of tuition and enrollment and such?
Absolutely.
Yes.
Yep. Great point.
Hey, Scott,
Exactly.
Scott, let me ask you this, Scott. Is it more of a challenge to make arguments for something like this now than it was when you were first trying to get the game design and development program together 9 years ago, 10 years ago?
Well, it was a challenge externally. Like internally at WilmU, we had a lot of support and a lot of momentum, and people were really excited about it internally. Externally, people still kind of didn't understand, like, how can my son or daughter get a job doing this type of work?
Yeah.
And you almost have to peel it back and say, look, it's more applicable to a lot of different things when you start to look at the skill sets that the students are building within the program. And, I think the Futures First, their group and the folks that they reach, they already have it. They already understand it, so that they already have buy-in, which is awesome, and which is why we're partnering with them.
Yeah.
But a lot of times, the industry itself, they're like, well, we want somebody that does video editing and can do social media and can handle all these different digital tools, right? And you're talking about a game design and development student because they do those things natively, and they understand how all of the mechanics of building a game, all of the flow from getting somebody who doesn't know how to operate your piece of software, get them doing things, objectives, and having fun and doing things that are rewarding. And then you figure it out that, oh, wait, this is the stuff that I need and want for my either customers or my employees or whatever else. So it does take a little bit of a transition to get from point A to point B, but once they figure it out, they never go back to looking at anybody else. They want game design students because they're so adaptable and flexible.
Hey, Stephen, let me redirect that to you kind of this way. Stephen Sye, CEO and co-founder of Futures First Gaming. It occurred to me as Scott was just talking there about a couple of things. First of all, obviously we're talking about industries that are in a pretty substantial growth pattern and will continue to be. But it also occurs to me that those who are considering this and applying themselves to this as a career come at it from such a healthy place, right? These are people, as he mentioned, they just come upon these skills natively, organically, something they have genuine interest in. This isn't a situation where we're thrusting people into a lucrative career path. It's a career path that they have wholesome and genuine passion for, and that's really healthy,
It is, absolutely. When we have students who, get into our community or get into our programming, I mean, you should kind of see and hear the sheer joy of them when they realize that they can actually turn this into something that they can do every single day and monetize and earn a living. I mean, traditionally, obviously in education, this is, in most instances not presented. And so, when we talk to them and say, hey, you can turn your love of creating TikTok videos into a profession. There are companies that want, employees to focus on, digital skills, content creation, video editing, and you can get paid to do that. Their smiles jump through the roof because, traditionally it's like, no, you got to go to school and be this, or you have to pursue another opportunity that they're just really not interested in. So it's a natural fit, and we love it, and we love the work that we do.
Let's talk a little metrics before we bail here, guys. Scott, I'll start with you. How do you measure success on this 2 years down the road? Is it pretty straightforward in terms of interested student numbers, or what are going to be the things that point to, yeah, we pulled this off, or, well, it could have gone better?
Well, I know internally, if we see enrollment kind of jump up as a result of this, that's obviously something that we want to do. If we see that the number of folks showing up to our events increases, we know we're on the right path. As we see students getting hired and companies formed or opportunities being kind of made for these types of students, those are going to be the biggest measures of success. And seeing, a successful pathway from Futures First through WilmU and on to greater things, that's going to be the biggest measure.
Stephen, I suspect that Futures First Gaming's metrics kind of mirror that in terms of you see the numbers and you say, yeah, obviously we've hit on something here.
Absolutely. Our workforce program right now is about interested parties and number of employment opportunities that we're able to provide to them, whether it's internships or full-time employment. But with the partnership with Wilmington University now, it bridges our pipeline. So from middle high school to, workforce was kind of where we were. Now we have another avenue, middle, high school, and now into university with WilmU. So our goal is to help, enrollment numbers, boost their enrollment numbers, or boost the number of certificates that we can provide that then allow for employers to offer full-time employment or internships to our students.